Hi, my name is Mary Ellen Collins. I am so happy that you're with me today. We're going to be talking about the individuation process. This is part 5 of Stuck. Growing up is hard to do. What happens when you lose a mother before your late teens? Well, the individuation process stops. You may be emotionally stuck, regardless of whether you had mother-daughter relationship was really good, extremely positive, or if it was fraught with difficulty. Hey, if I haven't met you, I'm Mary Ellen Collins, founder of the Motherless Daughters Ministry, and I am excited to bring you this Monday morning ministry moments. Each week, you're going to receive a short message that will connect all of us together, of knowledge from our 20 plus years experience of working with motherless daughters, inspiration, hope, biblical passages, and interpretation of that. Each week, we want you to respond to us and tell us, how is it for you? As you listen to this message, think about how you emotionally respond today as an adult and how that may be connected to your age of loss and the individuation process. Please let us know, tag us, and hit the like button and share this video with another motherless daughter who needs to hear this. One of the things I will tell you is, as we started talking about Stuck, part 1 of Stuck was introducing you to age of emotional development and age of loss. Part 2 of Stuck was mother loss at ages 0 to 6 years. Part 3 was mother loss at 6 to 12 years. Part 4 was mother loss as an adolescent. And today is part 5, which is the individuation process and mother loss. We want to hear from you and hear what you have to say. We want you to share your thoughts and questions in the comment section. We will respond to your comments. This ministry was created for you and to walk with you and to support you in your healing journey in the grief process of mother loss. We are here for you. You are not alone. Now, first, I want to talk about the individuation process so we can set that stage. And then I want to relate it to mother loss. So the first thing we're going to be talking about, and mother loss, we're going to relate it to mother loss through death, through emotional absence, and through narcissism. So all those I'm going to talk about. The individuation process, just what is it? We always say growing up is hard to do. Yes, it is hard to do, but that doesn't really capture the struggle that many young adults experience as they deal with risk and benefits of becoming an adult. While there are similarities, every process is unique for each person. But in the process of individuation, what you're doing is separating from your family or your same-sex role model and creating your own identity. Remember when you were a teenager? When you were a teenager, what happened? This is the age when you started figuring out who you are separate from everyone else. In that process, if you recall, it's a real struggle because you're not sure how to separate. It really means that you recognize and you understand that you are in a relationship with people, but you have to create your own identity. You want to grow. Growing into who you are is, speaking of the individuation process, it involves trial and error. What makes you happy, what makes you sad, what makes you cry, what makes you want to run away, what makes you stay. And all of this came about with the findings of Carl Jung, who was a Swiss psychologist. And he describes that individuation process. It's a struggle to become an adult. It takes a while. It starts in late adolescence and it continues through your whole lifespan. We are constantly evolving and we're constantly trying to figure out who we are. But as adults, if we have not separated from our parents, we may frequently repeat Let me say that again. If we have not separated from our parents, we may frequently repeat the same kind of mistakes they made and the same dependent attachments in other relationships. So let me now shift to mother loss and the individuation process. So mother loss has occurred before your late teens. You have not gone through individuation. You are emotionally stuck. Regardless of whether your relationship was extremely positive or if it was particularly difficult. The daughter that you may have not gone through that process. You can grow up to be a fully functioning adult, but when you're triggered emotionally, you will go back to your age of loss. So first, let me talk about mother loss through death. In our experience, women who have lost mothers through death may say, I don't know who I am without her. My mother has died, and I don't know who I am. I feel like a part of me died also. What this clearly tells us is that her identity is so closely aligned with the mother that once a mother is gone, her identity is gone too. That is so critical. And when you hear that, understand that the individuation process has not taken place. Many times women who've experienced mother loss through death are constantly seeking for who they are because the loss of the mother is huge because it's wound up in her own psyche and personality. One woman said these words exactly, my mother has died and I don't know who I am without her. She described her mother as always there for her, ever present. And upon further discussion, she said her relationship with her mother was so connected that each of them could not really fully function, making decisions without consulting first with the other one. The mother had divorced the woman's father when she was 12, and the two had become inseparable. Now, women who've had emotionally absent mothers, when their mother could be alive, living, or it could be deceased, they may have not gone through the individuation process either. The mother was present but emotionally absent in nurturing the daughter. And the daughter had to take on a persona of being a caretaker. She may have had a caretaker actually to the mother. She may have become the mother. She may have had siblings that she had to be the mother for. But what you have is these women, they were not equipped emotionally or psychologically to take on that process. So what happens is these women all have a similar reaction. It's fear. Am I going to do the same thing my mother did? For many women who've had emotionally absent mothers, their motivation for reaching out to the Motherless Daughters Ministry is that fear of doing the same thing to their children. One desperate woman pleaded to understand the effects of her emotional absent mother on hers so she wouldn't carry that burden and lay it on her own children. That emotional burden this woman was carrying was absolutely paralyzed her parenting ability. And the next group of women that I want to talk about are women who are daughters of a narcissistic mother. And I'm not talking about, when I use the term narcissism, it's not full-blown narcissistic personality, but it's somewhere on that spectrum where there's narcissistic characteristics. But these women may have not gone through the individuation process either. The narcissistic mother will not allow the daughter to consider what they want to be. In order to individuate, you need that support from the mother to figure out who you're all about. With a narcissistic mother, you are not allowed to think outside of her world. Very often, these women will have adopted a persona of defining who they are based on to please the mother. So inside, there's some real fear about defining who they are because they've always had to please someone. Many times, these women have either self-sabotaging or high-achieving behaviors, but finding out who they really are is a big challenge. It is huge. A daughter who survived her mother's narcissism and her mother's deceased still deals with painful emotional scars inflicted on her. While her mother was not physically abusive, the scars of emotional and verbal abuse haunt her to this day. She said, on the outside, we look like the perfect family. But when the doors were closed, the wicked, evil evil mother came out. I was not allowed to be or have anything that was mine. Everything had to be hers. I was one of her possessions, and I'm still struggling to separate from her identity and find who I really am. Wow. My prayer for you is for you to know that you can get unstuck. You need to just look inside yourself, pause, and continue to learn more and more about yourself and understand who you are today. If you have experienced mother loss before your late teens, have you gone through that individuation process? Do you know who you are? How does that play out in your life today as an adult? Are you stuck? Share your stories and have a wonderful week. Thank you for spending time with me, and I'll talk to you next Monday. Bye.